G'day guys, I'm out here in Western Sydney today. Going to show you a couple of Filterra high flow bioretention systems that we recently constructed for the developer. We're on a resi subdivision here. As you can see, some of the homes are starting to come up behind me. So it's still early days. The systems are offline. We'll go have a closer look. We'll show you some of the fundamental components and differences between Filterra and conventional bioretention. Some important facts though, you're at about 0.3% of the catchment area as your limiting size for your Filterra. You compare that to conventional bioretention, which is generally at the 1 to 2%, and you're saving thousands of square meters when we're talking about hectares of land subdivision here. So considerable saving, less land take, use it for open space. You can potentially develop more lots, or you minimize your disturbance on your natural environments. So quite effective, no on maintenance costs on top of that. So we can include maintenance as part of the package. We throw in a minimum 12 months in the package that we offer when we sell the system. We design, we supply, we follow quite strict QA/QC procedures and processes. So there's quality control the entire way through, right through construction, which as I said, we do, and we establish a system. It's offline, it's pre-treated by a GPT. We'll go have a closer look. So we're now down looking at the Filterra. As you can see behind me, we've got the forebay. See the gross pollutants that we've captured, allows the sediment to settle. See, it's got a bit of water in there at the moment. Obviously we've had rains for pretty much, you can call it close enough to a week. Out here in Western Sydney we've had quite a bit. Sediment will be settling out in this forebay. You can see the water level starting to drop, so the weep holes in the bottom of this forebay are actually working. You can see, as I pan around, you can see the OSD behind me. So this Filterra is adjacent to an OSD basin. So it's designed such that obviously flows via diversion are coming into the Filterra. We've got the forebay allowing pollutants to settle out, driving flow through the system, and then it's draining through into this OSD basin. Quite a lot of sediment build up actually here in the OSD. Probably one of the things I want to point out that's quite important, we get asked quite a bit, well, you've got mulch in the system. What happens to that mulch? Well, as you can see, if you look behind me, it beds down quite well. It mats and it settles. So if there was an issue about sediment building up on there or mulch floating, you're gonna see it in the OSD basin. There's no mulch at all down here. Right, if you have a good look, you can see the water level that was reached in the OSD over the weekend, which is considerable. Probably had a good 300 to 500 mils of water in there actually. But as we look at the Filterra, it looks pretty good. The plants, it's obviously pretty recent installation. Grass plants throughout this system. Gross pollutants are being retained on the mulch. Sediment will be retained on the mulch when the system is brought online. You can see the bubble up pipes with the scour protection, and you can see they've been working. It's still moist around the sides. So quite a good system here. About this particular one, probably about 300 square meters. These plants are starting to take. Timing wise, you've got to think about when you're going to plant the system out. Obviously, when you're getting your plants from the nursery or wherever you're getting your stock, you've got to think about the time of year. These plants were cut back quite hard, just purely because of the timing. But they're starting to come back, and you can actually see some of the plants are starting to flower as well, which is a pretty good sign. So they're starting to take. The plants on the outside edge, they'll take as well, just a bit of an aesthetic thing. But the system's looking pretty good. We've got our intermediate retaining walls. We break up the system into cells. Just builds a bit of efficiency in the system, allows us to actually specifically look at the cells in a bit more detail if they do need some rectification. But otherwise, the system's looking pretty good. And we'll go look at the next one. System number 2 behind me, guys. Different part of the catchment, obviously draining to this system. You can see in the background the forebay with the head wall. So a small forebay at the front. You can see the bubblers, the plants, the sandstone retaining. See a diversion swale just to the side here. So peak flows bypass this system. Bubblers are all working pretty well. As I said, these systems are offline, but there's obviously quite a bit of rain that we've had over the last week. So the forebays are filled up and water's been dispersed evenly through the system. So even though it's offline, there's been quite a bit of water that's gone through the system. Again, the plants are starting to take. They're quite young, but they're going to do pretty well. So a good example, multi-celled system. divided up into multiple cells, just to provide a bit of efficiency in the design and maintenance. Spread the flow evenly. Pretty good design. Ocean Protect, Filterra, here to help. Give us a call if you've got any questions. If you're designing a system, if you're stuck because you don't have much space, hydraulically challenged, Filterra is a pretty good way to go.